Greetings, sunshines and sunnies. It is I, Queen J Lotus, King Sunkiss, coming at y'all right quick, right fast, maybe, for a trio reading for Kelsey Frost, E. Kane from TikTok, and Girl from TikTok as well. I know a lot of people say their name is Girl la 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 la, but I hear it as Girl la 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 la. Like when I hear it and see it, that's what I hear. It's Girl la 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 la. And I didn't watch them, and I don't watch or keep up with E. Kane. But I've heard about a lot of the things. So that being said, a lot of you may notice a theme going on here. Okay, and as I said that, I just heard cautionary tales. There's been a lot of that type of messaging going on in a lot of the readings that I've been doing lately. And that being said, too, this reading really it started off as just Kelsey, and then Spirit kept stalling me up and stalling me up and stalling me up. I didn't understand why. But now it's became very apparent that they want to emphasize and make it clear that it's bigger than Kelsey. It's bigger than E. Kane. It's bigger than Girl. La, 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 la. It's bigger than the several individual stories of these natures. And so there are some specific themes and frequencies and messaging warnings, things of that nature that Spirit is wanting to emphasize, speak to, and speak about throughout this reading. There may be a pick a card element that comes about. We are going with the flow, backing purely off intuition and the divine calls to action, all right? So, that being said, I am doing these pulls as I go. I'm not shuffling on camera on here, and I'm not on camera. One, because this has supernatural elements to it, and a lot of the time, if and when I do supernatural readings, I'm not going to be on camera because that energy, is a lot. So it's just a spiritual hygiene thing as far as that is concerned. And so, without further ado, we will go ahead and get into the specificities of this first layout that I have here. And you'll notice that there are some labels going on. So for each pal, if you will, I asked for what are the specific things, themes, focuses that we are focusing on and need to be focused on as it concerns each of these individuals' stories and situations, all that. So starting with Kelsey, what is the main thing to be focused on as it concerns Kelsey's situation? So with Kelsey, this is Kelsey Frost, the daughter of Kirk Frost, stepdaughter of Rashida Frost. And there was a domestic violence situation. Her brother ended up coming to her defense, and her abuser was taken up out of here by one of her brothers. So it's an ongoing case. They're trying to figure out what's going on, all of that. Just to give some backstory in case you ain't know. Now, the main thing the Spirit is saying needs to be focused on as it concerns this situation, we have the connection card sideways. The head is to the left. So that is giving that there is like an excessive amount of negative connections in her frequency. I'm also hearing her upbringing, her heart space. I'm going to read the card. Whatever ends up happening with us, I'm grateful to have met you and for the connection that we have. As I was reading that, I heard deprivation. So what Spirit is bringing up a focus on here as it concerns Kelsey is the results of what deprivation of attention in your upbringing can do, and not just deprivation of attention specifically, but deprivation of connection. So what's coming up here is that Kelsey has not experienced any real connections from her parents. Like, they may see and acknowledge her, call on her for support, call on her to do something. It's given people who grow up, and a lot of the only attention that you get from your parents is to be told what to do and or to be fussed at. And so it's given that this has been a lot of her experience, and I do believe she's one of the oldest children, so that would also make sense. A lot of the oldest children have that experience where they are like objectified, basically. They're seen physically by the parents and a lot of the people. They're the most known of the kids, the siblings, and all of that, but they aren't the most connected with. They are often hyper objectified because a lot of the times the adults are only, and the children are trained as well by example, to only see these particular individuals as someone to call on for help or someone to call on as a dumping ground. And so what Spirit is saying here is that type of consistency and functionality is exactly what landed her into the abusive relationship, being so deprived of connection, intimacy, and feeling like she's seen as a person, amongst being caught up in the muscle memory habit of feeling like just an object, a servant, a toy to be taken off the shelf and played with and then put back once it's not entertaining anymore or simply not needed anymore. So I'm hearing Kelsey has struggled with feeling desired. She has struggled with feeling embraced just because just because she is here and exists and deserves to be desired and acknowledged and connected with. Ooh, child, if y'all could feel like the chills and the frog that almost came up in my throat as I was saying that. So, and as I'm saying that, I was just fixing to say, Kelsey is extremely heartbroken. It's given like she was born into heartbreak. She was born into an intense frequency of heartbreak and has not had anything or anyone for real to be a different example or truly help her break through that and cut off that cycle. And so I'm going to acknowledge the go sign that's on there, and what's coming through with that is that because I was hearing her brother's intervening was divine intervention. That's what Spirit is saying, that her brother's intervening was divine intervention. And I'm hearing they will be spared because of that, because none of this is their fault. Like, Spirit is recognizing that none of this is their fault, that their parents, the elders of their village, failed them by not going out of their way to make genuine connections with them, as well as birthing them into heartbreaking situations and not doing the due diligence to truly clean it up and rectify it and be the examples of true healing or anything, and then let alone leaving their kids to be responsible for the cleanup. So that's what's coming up here. And that's also why the ghost sign is there, because I'm hearing that the younger brother, specifically Kai, and that's the one who fired the shot, something was set off in him on a spiritual level. It's like he got a divine call to action to act, and he just did it. Like, it's like God put a battery in his back, and he just went. He just go. Like, God said 3, 2, 1, go, and he went. So I'm gonna stick a pin in that right there, and I'm gonna go to girl first. And y'all can't know how I just had to take several deep breaths, count to 10, pray, all types of shit, because I recorded like over half of the fucking channeling for Girl La La, and the fucking shit, like, as I was trying to save the damn audio, my fucking hand twitched and fucking deleted it. Nothing's a coincidence, and so I have to speak to that and on that and expose the punk bitch ass frequency, whatever the fuck that is. And it could be some frequencies coming from the person who took their life. It could be coming from the people who still had disdain for them being who they are. And let me fucking tell these frequencies something. You punk ass motherfucking bitches, you ain't stopping shit. Okay? I had to go talk to God about it so I can get some sense of direction on where to direct my energy, because as soon as we was talking about all of the laughter and joy that Girl La La has been bestowed back into in the afterlife, that's when fucking shit wants to start glitching and interfering and fucking doing dumb shit, causing fucking deletions and shit. Let me fucking tell you something. You're going straight to hell in a handbasket, so you might as well fucking stop, because you're gonna cry bricks fucking with me. All right? So if there's any homophobes, okay, if there's any energies, people in here that is not of divine design, honey, this is not a safe place for you. This is not a safe place for you. All right? And as we proceed to give you R&B mother, because what you need is the princess. Okay? Shout out to Girl La La, because she has indeed brought the laughter back, and that's a heavy part of what her messages are about. And that's how I know too that that's some actual demonic ass frequency being sent from somewhere trying to come through and intervene on these fucking jovial ass messages, just like they were intervening on her jovial spirit when she was alive. 7-Eleven, as I say that. So yeah, picking back up to the beginning of the messages, okay? Whereas this card here, ghosted. So a part of that card is girl being funny as hell. And in case you ain't know, because I had said it, I'm not going to try to like reiterate everything that was said to a T. I'm just basically restarting the channeling again and recollecting certain things that were said as I go. So that being said too, Lala has made it very clear I need to pick up this energy, okay, confuse the enemy and make the devil mad. And so we shall. So boom, TikTok. No pun intended, because I was not even like, when I said I get that from that boy, that be he be like really, really high, and he be like tasting food, some of it that he cooked, some of it that he got from other places. And every time he opened up his video, he say, boom, TikTok, okay, boom, TikTok. So that's where I get that from. But I just realized, hey, we focused in on a TikToker here, so boom, TikTok. That's so funny. But there are a lot of double entendres of that nature going on here as it concerns girl, la, 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 la's energy, the focus. Like I said, she's channeling heavily through this reading. It's almost like it was her that came in and said, hey, don't forget me, okay? Speak on me too. I'm important too. Tell my story too, okay? All right, and so here we are, right? Okay, so we have, it's covered up. Well, let me shut up and go. Okay. So we have the ghosted card and laughter in reverse. So those are two frequencies, if you will, themes that we're focused on as it concerns girl la, 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 la's situation. So with the ghosted aspect, it is a double entendre on the fact of, so let me tell you what girl la, 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 is saying. I'm gonna channel it exactly as it's coming out. Don't be like me, be better than me. I got ghosted, literally. Like, you see how the fuck that shit happened? Got ghosted, literally. Okay, and being humorous in it, she's channeling a lot of humor through here, but also, and I'm hearing her say, in all seriousness though, take this shit serious, because she documented it. And I'm gonna ask some confirmation questions. I already know like quite a few of the clarifying and confirmation questions that I'm gonna ask, but one thing she's emphasizing here is that when she was alive and documenting all of this stuff, she was crying for help, but she didn't know, like she couldn't see, she couldn't feel it and sense it for all that it was. So it's like she was only seeing things and sensing things moment to moment. So when it was good, that's all she could see and sense, that it was good. When it was bad, that's all she could see and sense, that it was bad. And like, even with, and she's bringing up moments where people tried to help her, people tried to tell her better, people tried to redirect her and be better examples, but because of like the moment to moment narrow-mindedness of it all, she couldn't process it properly. She couldn't see it, she couldn't hear it. She was like a ghost in her own life. Like, she became a ghost before it like manifested itself in reality. And so I keep hearing her say, don't cry for me. And it's channeling the song from Medea's Big Happy Family. She's saying, don't cry for me, I did it to myself. But what I'm going to speak to that is receive those tears. Receive those tears. Let it water the better fruit to come. Some generational curses have been uprooted through this situation and are continuously being uprooted through the fallout of this situation, because I'm hearing and seeing also, as I say this, different people, followers of her, as well as people who are just now hearing about the situation, waking up and fighting for themselves. Those tears being released as a form of release from prisons, internal, external, prison-like dynamics, prison-like frequencies, not just like the actual fortress of a prison, but being imprisoned in oneself, being imprisoned in relationships, being imprisoned in toxic belief systems. So I hear what they're saying. I sense what that is, and I feel like I'm gonna help her communicate it better, and I'm hoping this is also helping her spirit to transition more peacefully as well. And so I'm speaking directly to her spirit as I say, you in this moment, you are apologetic for not seeing and hearing and sensing the love that was trying to surround you and embrace you, that was a reflection of the love that was truly in you. You're apologetic, and you ask for forgiveness from those that you left behind, even before you left them in this way. Okay? As I said it in my mind's eye, I see her smile at that and releasing tears in the way that she can herself. So I hope that was releasing for whoever else in divine design as well. Okay? So there's a huge frequency of forgiveness going on here. All right? And as we proceed, we talk about the other aspects of this ghosted card. What I'm hearing is Lala was born into abandonment. So similar, it's like the other side of the coin to Kelsey. So whereas Kelsey was born into a huge village of people that were hella physically present, but no connection. So it's like surrounded by so many people, but still feeling alone. Whereas Lala's situation is more so being born into a village that automatically abandons and throws them away. Literally, it's getting images and channelings of like a baby being thrown in the trash. The scene from Empire where Lucius throws Jamal in the trash because he sees him playing dress up in women's clothing and things of that nature. And this could have happened literally to Lala I'm not sure, I wasn't there. I'm hearing that it did. But even if it didn't, it's the sensation. It's the paralleling experience of people operating with them like, oh, they came out in a way that I don't like, that's uncomfortable to me, throw the whole child away. And like literally showing that and doing that in a plethora of different manners. And so this is something that created a chain on Lala's brain that made it so, and I'm hearing and seeing the scene from What's Love Got to Do With It, where Anna Mae is talking to, I believe it's Jackie, and she's like, I can't leave him. I don't know, every time I just think about it, I just can't walk out. I know what it feels like to have your own blood walk out on you. And I can't do it. And so it's that scene, that's the energy, that's the chain, that's the prison that Lala was living in. It's like, kind of like a Foolish song. Like, see, my days are cold without you, but I'm hurting while I'm with you. And oh, my heart can't take no more. I keep on running back to you. And a part of it is, again, the other side of the coin to like Kelsey, being deprived of presence. And so getting it so intensely and excessively and at times passionately from this one person, and feeling like, and in that I'm hearing, it was some videos I saw of the person who was abusing Lala, and him talking about the only reason he stays with her is because basically he felt like he wouldn't be able to be with nobody else. He can't go back to women when nobody else want him, and this and that and the third. And so Lala was experiencing something similar, feeling more so like she had to be for him what no one was for her. Everyone turned their back on her. Everyone just threw her away, threw her in the trash, threw her to the wolves. And she knows what that felt like. She just couldn't find the strength in herself to do it to him, even though in this case it meant saving her life. It meant saving herself and being for herself what no one was for her. And I'm hearing her say, I get that now. She gets that now. And, you know, now that it's quote unquote too late. And so, yeah, she's saying it is a cautionary tale. It's a cautionary tale as fuck. And she wishes that she would have distributed it in that way before. But she was crying for help and not even realizing that that's what she was doing. As she was documenting it and putting it out there, and even at times when she was cussing people out that was trying to help her, she was crying for help and couldn't even really see or sense it for herself. And it's bringing up the video, one of her friends was talking about days or weeks or so before Lala was taken away, that her spirit was extremely low, and she was communicating things like, he's changed her. Like, the guy that was abusing her has changed her. Like, she don't feel like herself no more. And that's also a part of this ghosted frequency. And again, bringing up that element of he ghosted her before he literally ghosted her. And I'm hearing her say she wished she had ghosted him, because I'm hearing she would leave, she would try to leave, but she would always go back and try to hear him out. She would always go back and try to give him the opportunity to, you know, say something different, try to have a conversation, try to reason with him, try to break even in a way where they could at least try to maintain a friendship or some sort of connection, because she just really did not want to abandon him. She really did not want to abandon him. It's like she could see and sense that whenever she left him, his life would start to go to shit. He would start to spiral. Like, terrible things would start to happen in his life. I'm seeing and hearing like he would get nightmares. Like, something was haunting him. Some like monkeys were on his back type shit. And every time she would try to leave, every time she would leave him, she would notice that like he would be under drastic universal and spiritual attacks, and not realizing that that's just what he had coming to him. Not realizing that every time she went back, every time she put herself back into his presence, she was giving him bits and chunks of her light and her good karma. And he was trying to destiny swap with her. I just heard that. He was trying to destiny swap with her. And every time she gave him any type of more energy, it was just swapping it. But he's the type of spirit that can't do shit with the light. He can't use the light. The only thing he'll do is stomp it out. The only thing he does with laughter is end it. The only thing he does at a party is poop on it. The type of spirit, the type of person that he is, can't do shit with the light, can't do shit with joy, can't do shit with true creativity, can't do shit with the blessing that is femininity. He can't do shit with it. So every time she gave him anything, all he could do is the only thing he's capable of at this point, which is take it out. And that's also why the laughter card is in reverse. Y'all know I ain't even know, like, I'll be doing all this misty eyed shit on my channel like something else. Yeah, I know. I don't see nothing wrong with crying and all shit, but I try to, when I'm communicating, I try to stay in the best posture I can to communicate fluently and properly. But I'm not gonna tell a lie to y'all. I am getting very, I am getting misty-eyed over here. I am tearing up, okay? The emotions are flowing. This shit is real, honey. And that's a part of how you know it's real, because I usually can keep it together, but this channeling is strong as fuck. Okay, her energy is also strong and light and powerful as fuck. And I appreciate this. So I hope that y'all are able to appreciate it as well. And so me and her are saying to y'all, for real, in the form of a channeled song, if you are in a situation like this, if you suspect or are peeping red flags that you could be in a situation of this nature that is abusive, even if it's only emotionally abusive or mentally abusive, please slip out the back, Jack. Make a new plan, Stan. Don't try to be coy, Roy. Get yourself free. Run. Ghost. Ghost them before they ghost you in the worst fucking way. Talk to yourself about whatever closure. If you need to leave, whatever those physical items are, leave them. Fuck all of that shit. Get your mind, body, and soul out of there. Get out. Because I'm also hearing straight up as it's channeled through this message, through these cards and the laughter cards specifically. And I'm hearing spirit say it's a very aligned, synchronized message that when somebody steals your laughter, when somebody is compromising your joy, stifling your laugh. I'm hearing the emphasis on the laugh. You start hearing somebody say, why you laugh so loud? Why you laugh so much? Why you smile so much? Why you always so happy? That's what I'm hearing. If anybody is saying things like that to you, or having disdain, like every time you laugh, every time you smile, every time you're your most happy, or even happy in the slightest, anytime you're waking up in a good mood, you're having a good day, you're walking on sunshine, or even you're just the type of person like myself, like Lala was. You're just, and I didn't even follow her, but I'm sensing the energy, and I'm literally communicating and co-collaborating with her as I'm doing this reading. And all of that said, if you're the type of person that truly values joy, laughter, being blissful, and you start sensing a person or people around you being Debbie Downers, they have an issue. They're annoyed by laughter. They're annoyed by joy. They're annoyed by fun, celebratory, festive energy. Get the fuck away from them. They are dangerous. They are demonic, even if they are not trying to be. Get the fuck away from them. Because as Spirit and Lala has said, and I'm in full agreement with them, once someone starts compromising your frequency of joy, your frequency of laughter, which is also a release, it's the other side of the coin to crying. That's why you have the phrase laugh to keep from crying, because that's also a release. That's why there's also a thing that is tears of joy. You can laugh so hard that you start crying. You can laugh so hard that tears start coming from your eyes. Okay? And so again, and finally, as it concerns this layout, before we move on, when someone starts compromising your laughter, the next thing is your life. Because your laughter, your joy, that is the light within you. That is the light of your soul. Light represents life. They rhyme for a reason. The sun is the giver of life. And what does the sun do? It shines. It's a big ass light. It's one of the biggest, most prominent lights, most pure lights in this world, in this dimension. Our laughter is the sun of our being. So when someone starts trying to compromise your joy, someone starts trying to compromise your laughter, your smile, the light, the sun of your being, they do not value your life, and they will take it one way or another. Get the fuck out. And I'm not ending the reading here, but I do feel a need to do the outro affirmative prayer that I do right here. With all that being said, child, if I do say so myself, honey, the cow ain't milked totally dry. But we must give gratitude to this exchange of vibes. And as always, in all ways, light, love, healing, and liberation. Emphasis on liberation. That's me blowing kisses of light to all of you in divine design. That's me blowing kisses of the sun, okay? King Sun Kiss, all right? Okay, nothing is a coincidence. Nothing is a coincidence. I'm King Sun Kiss for a reason. Yes, God. All of the Most High's will and favor. All right? All right. And now we're going to get to E. Kane's section. And I must do tell y'all, I have not thoroughly channeled. Like I said, I'm channeling as I go. But I can instantly pick up the energies and messages even when the cards first come out. So I already know that the energy of E. Kane's reading is not fixing to have, and I'm gonna clarify to y'all once again. I do not follow E. Kane nor girl la 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 la. I know about Chelsea through watching Love and Hip Hop. So the most of that I know about her, from a surface level, it's just from, how she's been on Love and Hip Hop, and she ain't been on there that much. So I'm saying all of this to say, I don't have a dog in any fight, okay? I'm team right is right and wrong is wrong. I'm not a fan of any of these people. I'm not a foe of any of these people. I'm not a hater of any of these people. I will say though, through just channeling on Lala's section, I thoroughly appreciate that, and that was highly refreshing. So I have a grown interest there in her, and I'm an empathetic person. I have empathy for all of these individuals, regardless, because everything has roots, you know, and we're not supposed to give sympathy to everything, but the roots do warrant empathy, especially considerate. Okay, but I had to give that. Child, this whole video is a trigger warning, but I'm giving an extra trigger warning here because I know that Spirit is about to get on E. Kane's ass. Okay, that's just something that I already know, and I know that based on the fact that you can just look at it and already see the difference in her layout. One, she has more of a whole layout, reverse cards, and one of the oracle cards that came out for her is not even an oracle card. It's the outline key of how to use the deck. Different ways that you can use the deck and what the icons mean and all of that. It's an outline key. So yeah, nah, I had to allow myself to recuperate and live life and, you know, marinate and all that other good stuff after that channeling. So this is a new day. Just that little disclaimer, as you may notice a slight difference in the essence type shit. It is a new day as I have gotten to E. Kane's part of this channeling. So, like I said, some focuses that are, and don't talk about me if you heard that little beat. That is not the fire, the heat, the thing that be detecting heat, the fire detector. That is not that. That is the microwave. I got something in the microwave and it's done. So don't. All right. Okay. Don't do me. Okay. So without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and get into the specificities of E. Kane's channeling here. The first things first that we focusing on, the Spirit is calling our focus to, as it concerns her and her circumstance, situation, and all of that, is, as I pointed out, the card that came out for her from the Neon Love Oracle is the outline key for the deck. Like I said, it tells you different ways that you can use the deck, different layouts that you can do, what the icons mean, what certain patterns and collectives of the icons mean when they come out together and such, all of that. So, many of the readings also that they give are either 4-card and or 6 cards. So, to break that down and what that is meaning here for E. Kane and the focuses and all that, I really hate to say this, but I gotta say how the message is coming out, right? Personally, I really don't want to believe that there is anyone that truly, that truly glorifies being abused, or at least there's no one in their right mind who does so. All the while, it must be acknowledged that abuse can take you out of the rightness of your mind, okay? All that said, child, the message behind this is E. Kane is very calculated. It's giving like master manipulator. It's giving it's like giving me the image of from the Scooby-Doo movie and how what was that big ass monstrous thing, and when they opened it up it was Scrappy-Doo inside. Like the whole time Scrappy-Doo was the villain in the Scooby-Doo movie, and his little old self was inside this big old monstrous machine type shit. It's been a while since I watched the movie, but that's the that's great. That's not a coincidence. That's the imagery that they've given me for her. That one way or another, she's the real villain to herself, and therefore she has no choice but to be villainous in her situation, by her situation, through the situation, and how she uses it. And so that's the specificity also, how she uses it. It is quite similar to the types of women who stay pregnant because they feel like it gets them attention. So that's what's coming up here. It's like she stays in certain types of chaos. She is attracted to certain types of chaos and being abused and things of that nature because it's like the only way she feels that she can get attention. And then and this taps into like the icons and such in the outline key and all of that. Icons, her is the only way that she feels she can be iconic amongst clicks and views. Because think about you online, when you like something, it's usually like the icon of a heart pops up in some like type of 3D manner. Even on TikTok, when you interact, it's like a plethora of different ways that you can interact. I don't know what the buttons are because I don't do that type of thing on TikTok. I mostly just like performed on TikTok. Like I've mostly been in the performance section if I'm not making, if I'm not watching mukbangs. But if you know the different plethora of ways that you can engage with someone's live, and like how they send the icons and whatnot that put like the mustaches and hats and stuff on the faces, or it makes butterflies and hearts and shit go all over the screen and all of that. She gets a lot of like dopamine releases and gratification from those types of things, knowing that like anytime someone engages with her videos and such like that, it's also given that she keeps her notifications on loud, like probably has several devices where she keeps the notifications on loud, because she enjoys, like really gets a rush and dopamine release from all those clicks and views and dings and pings and picking up her phone and seeing the icons and the cute colors and all of those things. And it sounds very childlike, right? And that's the indication of the like numbers 4 and 6. Remember I said a lot of the layouts that they have on that outline key for the deck, it's like between 4 cards and 6 cards, and the key measure is based off like having 4 icons and paying attention to the icons that they are and how many icons. So for instance, you may be able to like zoom in and see it on the card, but for example, they have like, if you get four or more stop signs in the deck, then your reading symbolizes that it's time for you to make a move. Don't miss an opportunity with a great person type shit. So like if you get 3 rings and a heartbreak sign, you know, and what that means type shit. So all that to say, this is typing back. This is this is tapping back into some influences from her childhood. And it's another example of someone not getting enough attention or enough of the right attention at home. And I'm not saying that what I'm about to say is exactly what happened with her, but this is like the parallel and frequency of like potential experience that will put a certain mentality in someone's head. So the scenario that Spirit is giving is like a child being raised by a single mom who is very fixated on getting a man. And so every time a man comes into the picture, the mother's attention diverts from the child into the man more predominantly. But every time the man, or you know, whichever man leaves, the mama's attention is more focused in on the child. So it facilitates replacement type shit. It's like the child is a space holder for the parent until and unless they find a companion, you know, a man, a woman, whatever, what have you. Another part of this scenario is one of those men and or women, whatever, one of those companions abusing the child, and the child speaks up, the mother handles it accordingly, and this brings more attention to the child now, right? And so because the child has been so deprived, it's now facilitating like this drunkenness on the attention now. And so a failure to reestablish balance, specifically in the way of like if the mother doesn't handle her own sense of guilt, she can end up enabling the child to become an abuser, because she will whip her own back for the child and then like give the child an excessive amount of pacifying and coddling attention to try to compensate for her guilt for, you know, whatever she did or didn't do that facilitated the abuse, that facilitated, you know, the leadway or whatever for her child to have been violated, abused, whatever, what have you. And so in a nutshell, what's coming up here is that something was very likely going on in Ekane's childhood where whenever some significant other, and this can be like romantic significant other of her parents or both her parents, one or the other, but this can also be a parent being a caregiver to a hell of a lot of people that are outside the household. You know, it doesn't necessarily have to be a, you know, mama always chasing a man type situation. It can also be one or both of the parents are always overly giving outside of the household and not so much inside. And so making her feel like in order to, and this is not saying, I'm not saying at all that as a child, she, you know, chased some sort of crisis or abuse or anything of that nature. No, what's coming up here is that something literally happened in her childhood as a result of her being neglected while the parents, the elders' attention was so hyper focused on giving to other people one way or another, and or receiving from other people one way or another. Okay. And some sort of crisis very likely happened to her. And the response of the elders to then coddle her out of guilt is what facilitated this whole mentality of the only way I can get, you know, the right types of attention or, you know, tender attention, loving attention, things of that nature, empathy, sympathy, happy, you know, joyfulness, celebratoriness, and things of that nature is if I'm going through a crisis, is if people see me and know that I'm going through a crisis. I hope I explained that well, because it's a very peculiar It's a very peculiar circumstance, mentality, psychology type of thing, especially when you try to put it into words. So yeah, all that being said, this is giving like a cautionary tale scenario as to how the abused becomes like how the victim becomes the villain. Because all victims, of course, don't become abusers, and most certainly all victims and survivors are not calculated in this way as it concerns how they are handling and navigating the abuse. And so what I want to point out and emphasize here is that this is a sickness, all right? And it's giving that, and what Spirit is saying here, because I'm going to get into the Rebel Oracle cards that came out for her in just a second, but Spirit is saying this is someone you can have empathy for and compassion for, but not sympathy, because she is abusive to sympathy. She, I'm hearing, and I don't want to say this, but this is the message that's coming through. Spirit is saying she's a lost cause. So as we get into her Rebel Oracle cards, they're all in reverse. So the first one reads off, move the fuck on. Again, it's in reverse. The second one is, you got a good thing going, don't ruin that shit. It's also in reverse. The third one is, get the ugly cry on, let that shit go, your soul will thank you. It's also in reverse. And those are low-key, high-key, like straight up elaborators on the fact that she's a lost cause. She doesn't feel a sense of urgency to do anything about her situation, to change her mentality, to change her life, because for so long, it's quote unquote worked for her. She gets all of the praise and attention, eyes on her, doting on her, all of this sympathy that she doesn't use properly. It's a lot of energy harvesting. She energy harvests, like she uses her circumstances, she uses her crisis, she uses her victimhood to harvest people's energy. And based on the messages, it's coming from the failure to, I don't know the proper word to use for this, because of course, when you realize that someone has been violated, abused, things of that nature, especially when they're children, you do need to create an overflow of love and support, let them know that they're not alone and all of this and that. But the issue is when you're doing it from a place of pity, and that's what is given, that her village may have intended to give her empathy, compassion, support, but it was coming from a place of guilt, excessive guilt, and therefore the transfer was pity, which enables self-pity, which enables this functionality and lifestyle of, I can't do no better because such and such happened to me when I was this age. I can't do no better because somebody violated me when I was 4. I can't do no better because my mama died when I was 6. I can't do no better because my mama abandoned me when I was 10. I can't do no better because da 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 da. Okay? And so there has to be, okay, we give you empathy, compassion for this, but when you then start making mistakes or acting out, you know, as a human being, let alone a child human being, we still have to hold you accountable for these individual moments, even if some of it is trauma responsive, right? And so that's another aspect of it. There was growing pains, and I want to be clear, I'm not saying exactly what happened to her as a child, but it is coming up something abusive, something crisis-esque, something to do with abuse, neglect, a crisis, a violation of the sort, something of the sort happened to her. That's what Spirit is saying. That's what the messages from the channeling are saying, that as a result of all the elders' attention being elsewhere, something terrible was allowed to happen to her. And like I said, out of guilt, the village began to just coddle. And like I said, there were some things, of course, growing pains of just being a child growing up. You make mistakes, you do stuff, get into stuff. And then some of it was trauma responses. And so throughout these acting outs, wherever it's coming from, a lot of her village would just say, well, oh, this happened to her when she was young, so just let her have it. Such and such happened to her way back when, so that's just how she is. Just let her make it. Such and such happened to her back then, and so this is why you just gotta just be patient with her, and da 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 da. And not only has that facilitated her being attracted to abuse, but it also has facilitated her in being abusive emotionally, as well as certain other ways if it conveniences her, because she feels like she's entitled to be fucked up in a lot of ways. She feels entitled to be villainous. She feels entitled to be manipulative. She feels entitled to do whatever the fuck it is she wants to do, because a belief system has been implanted in her psyche and in her soul, that because whatever had happened was to her when she was a child as a result of everybody neglecting her, that she now has a right to be abusive. And again, this is the cautionary tale that Spirit is bringing up here, that of course not all victims become villains, but this is how they become villains. When people get into these pitiful energy transfers of sympathy and empathy, when the roots of the sympathy and empathy are actually pity and pitiful, coming from a place of self-pity and guilt, it sends the message that because such and such abused you at this point, now you can be abusive going forward. And it brings up like R. Kelly, Ray J, Diddy, a plethora of other people who there has been information released where, that they were abused as children. And then the handlings of it as a result sent a message to their brain that they now have the entitlement, they now have the right to be abusive to people because somebody was abusive to them. So, honey. And Spirit is making it very clear here that once that switch happens, they're no longer a victim. And that is why Spirit shifted that energy in this one, because you will most certainly notice that the first two decks, like the first two channelings with Kelsey and with Girl Lala, they were quite, heartfelt and compassionate and graceful and all of that. But this one is much more cold. And child, I can't make this shit up. I literally cannot make this shit up. So with that being said, it's high time to get into the clarification, elaboration, and confirmation pools to see more details about these situations, more messages and such that Spirit is wanting us to take from it. Howsoever, I am going to start another video for that section. So this has been part 1 of, I don't know what kind of reading I'm gonna call this. You'll see it in the title, I guess. But child, this has been the first part of this basically DV themed trio read. Like I said, this is just an intro for us to see, hear, and ponder, commiserate on what is, God in the universe wanting us to take, see, and really focus on when it comes to our observation of these public figures and their situations and all that. Because being the fact that they are public figures, they are inevitably examples. They are inevitably role models to some sort of degree, whether anybody likes it or not. Okay? And they may, on the surface in their mind, have whatever reasons they have for publicizing their lives or publicizing whatever it is that they publicize. However, the universe, the Most High, as well as even their higher selves, much like Girl Lala channeled through and communicated that on the surface of her mind, she didn't realize that she was crying out for help the whole time. Even when she was cussing certain people out that was trying to help her, on a soul level, her soul was crying out for help, was trying to save her even still. And also, in my marination and pondering after doing that channeling, I started to try to make sense in my mind, the depths of how could one be crying out for help while they're attacking the people that are trying to help them. And so to try to kind of give some explanation to that, paint that picture, to kind of paint that picture, when a person is in an abusive relationship, they may want out, and more than likely they've tried to leave several times, and the trying to leave lets them know that sometimes leaving can be more dangerous than staying, or at least it can seem more dangerous than staying, right? Because you can also have situations where you leave the relationship, you try to go to someone else and be like, hey, can you help me? Can you let me stay here real quick? This motherfucker stalking me, hunting me, and all this other fucking shit. I'm trying to leave them. They abusive, da, 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 da. And it's bringing up what's love got to do with it again, where Tina tries to leave and she tries to go to her mama's house, and her mama fucking tells her abuser her whereabouts, that she coming there, and has him pull up on her and snatch her up and take her on back off with him. So all of that to say, mindlessly, the spirit yelling through and cussing out and attacking the person that, and this is gonna sound crazy, but understand that it's a crazy circumstance that brews irrational outbursts, right? So in a victim attacking the people that's trying to save them in a moment, it's kind of like a child that is testing the fuck out of a new teacher, a new guidance counselor, their new foster family, their new adoptive family. They're trying to see if you are real. They're trying to see if you are actually a person that genuinely wants to save them, let alone that can, help them with their situation. They're trying to weed out, are you truly someone here that gives a fuck about me? Because if you truly are empathizing with me for real, you'll be able to see through the facade of what's going on here. You'll be able to truly empathize. You'll be able to see with your soul's eye that this is a dangerous motherfucking situation amongst them posturing and performing for the abuser, trying to not only keep the abuser off of themselves, but also keep the abuser off of the person that is trying to save them. And that is also kind of like a test to see, again, is this quote unquote savior real, or are you just low key in cahoots with the abuser? Okay, we took a scenic route, but we parked the car. I hope I explained that. I hope that I explained that well. Okay, so what we have here are, and I feel like Spirit was wanting to make clear between Spirit wanted to make a difference between Ekane and Lala specifically. Kelsey as well, but I'm noticing this stark call of attention to the differences between Ekane and Girl Lala specifically, because it is very common for victims to lash out at the people that they care about most and the people that are trying to help them, and this is because there is a certain one, it fucks up the brain, it fucks up the nervous system, of course, but they also get caught up in this entangled crossroads of trying to figure out and prioritize who the fuck they're protecting, because they're trying to protect themselves, and in order to protect themselves in that situation, there's a certain level of protecting the abuser that they feel like they have to do, and then as well as they then feel responsible for also trying to protect every fucking body else. So a general consensus that I'm picking up here, with all of that being said, is make sure your sense of urgency to protect yourself is a top priority. Because a lot of the times people end up in these abusive type situations because they feel overly responsible for protecting other people. And they feel like they have to do that in order to get an ounce, a crumb of whatever the love, attention, compassion, empathy that they were deprived of from their childhood. But honey, like I said, we will pick this up in the next part and get into, whatever the next crooks and crannies are to the situation. Figuring out what the universe and spirit has to say about it all and what we supposed to be taking from it, the meat we supposed to be taking and the bones we need to spit out. And I believe it's about that time where I remind y'all, you give a man a fish to eat for a day, you teach a man a fish to eat for a lifetime. Y'all go fishing, baby. And with all that being said, y'all, if I do say so myself, honey, I have milk to discount your eye, and I am thoroughly appreciative for the exchange of vibes. And if you're feeling synchronized, please do me a divine design and like, share, and subscribe so that you can be one of the first to be back through these queenly quarters for the next time. And be sure to bless that comment section with your questions and conversations. And as always, I bid you in all ways like love, healing, and liberation. Emphasis on liberation. Mwah.